Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest here. Yesterday was a little scary for me and my family in general. And before you go thinking, yes, this is most definitely my low. And that is my grandfather had to go to the hospital. I mean, it turns out he fell, and there really is something wrong with him because on Monday they have to put a temporary like pacemaker line or something, and there is actually a chance he may not make it. So, yeah. All I could really do to, give myself a high was to just do what I normally do. Spend the day with, my mom, my dad. I mean, my mom didn't get back from work until like after 8 o'clock. So, I got to spend time with them for a little while. It was their anniversary yesterday. So happy 39 years, Mom and Dad. I said this I think I said this yesterday, but happy 39 years, Mom and Dad. They're both off today, so they should definitely be able to spend time with each other, which is good. And my act of kindness was I actually got, if you check my social media, I actually got them a anniversary card. And yeah, it was, yesterday was a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I kind of knew this would happen at some point because, again, that's how life works. Not to mention, I'd already lost my grandfather on my mother's side, which, that was sad enough as it is. Sometimes I do still think about it. And I remember because my mom was working in the hospital where my grandfather was at, but then they transferred my grandfather over to Robert Packer Hospital in Sayre. And I could hear my mom over the phone, and she was like crying over the phone, talking to my dad. Not good. Definitely not good. And I think I get why my mom was upset as she was as upset as she was. Excuse me. Because, she already lost her father, and, my grandfather on my father's side is, again, like a second father to her. So, it's perfectly reasonable why she's as upset as she is. Obviously I'm going to try and remain strong through all this, because if it happens, it happens. Oh, trust me, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be completely devastated. I want to make one thing abundantly clear. I'm going to be completely destroyed if it happens. But I can hold my head high knowing that I got a good almost 33 years of life with my grandfather being a part of it. And not to mention, I may have told this story once before in the past, but it was December of 1992, literally right on Christmas Eve. I actually had a seizure while I was taking a bath. It was from a fever I had, and I had to go to Corning Hospital back when Corning Hospital was actually in the city of Corning. Now Corning Hospital is just outside of Big Flats, even though it says Corning Hospital. But back when Corning Hospital was in the city of Corning, I had to go there, and I wound up spending Christmas in the hospital. In fact, I think I might have actually spent my birthday in there too, because remember, my birthday is December 28th, so yeah. So I can definitely say I've spent Christmas in the hospital before. The night I was there, my grandfather, again, I'm talking about my grandfather on my father's side, by the way. He stayed with me that whole night. I was in the hospital. He didn't have to do it, but he did. And I eventually did get to thank him for it many years later, on his birthday, actually. In fact, I did it back in 2021. I got to thank him proper. So, and you know, we just celebrated, you know, 70, him and my grandma spending 70 years of marriage together. So, you know, I got that going for me. You know, I got to thank my grandfather properly. You know, I got to see him live the 70 years of marriage with my grandma. You know, that's pretty damn good, if you ask me. Sorry, I just cursed there, I'm sorry. But it's still very, very good. And if, you know, it happens, it happens. So, yeah. I mean, he's in the hospital right now in the surgery spot. My mom is convinced that, you know, because it's going to be a pretty, you know, pretty big surgery and, or procedure, I meant to say. A pretty big procedure. And, you know, my grandfather's 88 years old, so when I say there's a chance he may not make it, well, there you go, that's why. But, you know, I like to think that, you know, again, I saw him, you know, celebrate 70 years of marriage with my grandma. The most important thing for me was I got to thank him for spending the night with me in the hospital. I mean, yeah, if it wasn't COVID and the pandemic and everything, of course I would try and reciprocate the favor. But since the pandemic started, you know, visiting hours of hospitals have been all over the place in terms of who's allowed in, who can be with who, all that stuff. So, yeah, trust me, the pandemic has found a lot more ways than one to hurt everybody, including me. So you're not alone. But, again, I got to thank him. You know, I got to thank him for him being in my life. I got to thank him for being with me the night I was in the hospital. That's good. You know, I'll remember I thanked him for the rest of my life. Plus, on his actual birthday a few years ago, back in 2021, I actually wrote about that too. So, at some point or another, it's on the internet. So, there you go. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I actually feel kind of better talking about this. But, you know, it makes sense. You know, talking it out is, you know, it's the best medicine for a lot of things. You know, sharing your feelings, elaborating on them, stuff like that. That's why I did the Save My Being address, actually, which is coming up in a little over a month from now. I must definitely get prepared for it. Well, actually, regardless of whether or not, you know, my grandfather winds up kicking the bucket, November's going to be pretty eventful. I mean, in a few days, I got to fly to Houston for a wedding. That's going to be a lot of fun. And my first video in, you know, the state of Texas. Can't wait for that. And, you know, you have important things in the month of November. You know, you have stuff like Veterans Day and Thanksgiving. So I'm looking forward to those too. Not to mention, tomorrow is Halloween, which I actually have, no kidding, I actually have two friends that not only have their birthdays on Halloween, but their wedding anniversary is also on Halloween. That's pretty cool. That's like the most Halloween-y wedding ever. Is Halloween-y a word? Probably shouldn't be, but who cares? It's my video. I'll make it a word. How about that? Um, but I'm holding up okay. The important thing is, I mean, right now, as far as I know, my grandfather's doing fine. And again, there's only a chance things go south tomorrow. I mean, my father is pretty sure he's going to be completely fine. I mean, it's my mom who's worried, but I get why. It's my mom. You know, she's already lost one father. You know, why lose, another one, right? Of course, that's going to be completely painful for her. Not to mention, my mom's a nurse. She's seen it all. So she has every right to be, for lack of a better word, hysterical as she was. But at the end of the day, again, if it happens, it happens. I'm going to be okay. Plus, again, at some point I knew this was going to happen. It was going to happen at some point. I'm not going to pretend that everyone I know is going to live forever, because that's just not how life works. Plus, I get the feeling, we all want to make that wish that we want to live forever, but honestly, you can make the case that living forever is just as horrible as dying. Because you know what, at least, if you die and you believe that there is an afterlife, because I know some people don't, I don't judge, but let's say you believe that there is an afterlife, and there's going to be all the people that you knew and loved from before, they're going to be there. You got that going for you. That's pretty cool. And if for whatever reason there isn't, you can at least take some pride knowing you're not the only person who's ever died. At least I'm going to, when it gets to be my time, I'm going to try and rationalize it that way. Probably won't do me any good, but that's how I got for now. So I'd like to cheer myself up by make my NFL picks for the day, shall we? There we go. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm 1-0 in terms of picks, because I picked the Ravens to win. So let's see. The Broncos and the Jaguars. You know what? I think bit of a tough call, but I think I'll have. And both teams are not very good, if you couldn't tell. You know what? Because my cousin is getting married this upcoming weekend, and she grew up in a Broncos family, I'll pick the Broncos. Okay, so the Broncos, Dolphins and Lions. Oh, that's easy. The Dolphins. Oh, yeah, easily the Dolphins. Let's see, the Panthers and the Falcons. The Panthers very much surprised me. But you know what? I think I'll take the Falcons with this one. Cardinals and the Vikings. I'm picking the Vikings. Bears and Cowboys. Of course I'm picking the Cowboys. Which kind of is sacrilege considering wearing a Bears jersey. But yeah, go Cowboys. Raiders and Saints. I trust Derek Carr more than Jameis Winston. I'm picking the Raiders. Steelers and the Eagles. Look, as much as I hate doing this, I gotta pick the Eagles. I get the feeling they're going to walk all over the Steelers. Patriots and the Jets. You know what? I think the Jets are finally going to beat the Patriots today. I'll pick the Jets. Titans and Texans. Yeah, I'm picking the Titans. Giants and Seahawks. I'll pick the Giants. Actually, fun fact, those two people I mentioned who were friends of mine that have both their birthdays and their wedding anniversary on Halloween, they're Giants fans. So, hey, I'm thinking of you guys. Let's see. Commanders and Colts. You know what? The Commanders actually impressed me. I'll pick the Commanders. 49ers and Rams. That's tough. I mean, this is going to be a big game. For sure. But who do I trust more? Do I trust Matt Stafford, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and Cooper Kupp? Or do I trust Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Trent Williams? You know what? I think the 49ers are going to take this division. I'll pick the 49ers. Packers and Bills? Oh, that's easy. I'm picking the Bills. Let's go, Buffalo. So, to recap, all my picks are the Broncos, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Vikings, the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Eagles, the Jets, the Titans, the Giants, the Commanders, the 49ers, and the Bills. Let's go, Buffalo. So, my plan for today is going to be pretty simple. Later, I'm going to see my folks. Probably, spend the day with them. And again, I'm a bit worried about trying to go to the hospital. I mean, of course I would go. If it wasn't like for the pandemic and how crazy the rules are with visiting hours and everything, yeah, I'd go. But I don't want to go all the way to Sayre, Pennsylvania, only for them to just say, "I'm sorry, you can't come in." So there you go. I'll give my folks a call and see if that's okay though. My mom would know. So. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on social media. And as always, I'm very humble I made this video for all of you guys who watch and enjoy for today. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Did I even do Happy Sunday? Well, Happy Sunday, everyone. And I hope it is a good Sunday for you. And remember, if you guys want to talk to channel, we'll be here to lend you and I'll always hear back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.